Tonight, we'll find out what students should know when looking for housing off campus.
Plus, high school students learning Chinese on Troy's campus. Stay tuned. TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision Nightly News for July 18, 2012. I'm Brittany Harris.
And I'm Judson Garner. Thanks for joining us this evening. Last week, Troy University started its second year of the program Star Talk, and the students who came into the program hardly knowing anything about the Chinese language are now starting to grasp some of the basic concepts.
32分对吗?
That was easy.
Star Talk is a program similar to a camp where students from around the state come to Troy University and learn an international language. These high school age students are learning the Chinese language and culture. They're now in their second and final week at Troy, and so far they seem to be holding up pretty well.
I liked it a lot.
I love it. I want to come back next year.
For an English-speaking student, learning Chinese could be quite the challenge considering the differences in both English and Chinese. But Star Talk submerges the students in the Chinese culture, in theory making it easier for them to learn the language.
The way the program is set up, the environment makes you feel like you're actually at China, and it enhances our learning experience.
On the other side of the program, there are Chinese teachers learning how to teach their native language to English-speaking students. This is a skill that is not common amongst teachers in the state of Alabama.
It's very, very important for them to become professional Chinese language teachers, especially for our state, Alabama state. We badly need Chinese language teachers.
And the students and teachers enrolled in the Star Talk program may take away something that they might not have expected to learn, something beyond language and culture, an invaluable lesson in humanity.
I find that people in all cultures or in this country's Western world, they are so kind as well, and then I know they have the same love and struggle and the same feeling as, so no matter what background or what country, what color or what country they are. So basically human all the same inside, and I love this very much.
The Star Talk graduation ceremony will be this Saturday at 10 a.m. in the Trojan Center Theater.
Even though we are right in the middle of the summer, the fall semester is right around the corner. In the beginning of the semester comes students trying to find a place to call home for the next year. Christina Cook takes a look at the student search for a place to live.
With the new school year quickly approaching, many students are faced with the process of finding a place to stay. And with limited housing available on campus, some students look for off-campus housing for their future homes.
The first thing they need to do is just, figure out what their options are. There's several different apartment complexes they can choose from. They need to find out the application fees, any reservation fees, deposits, and make sure they get a lease and read it and understand it before they sign it.
And there are several questions students should keep in mind when searching for an apartment.
The first thing I would ask is whether or not the apartment complex allows pets.
They need to find out the terms of the lease, how long the lease is for, how much they have to pay each month, what that rent includes, if it includes cable, internet, utilities, things like that.
Make sure you know that your apartment or house has gas, because you won't have hot water sometimes if you move in and you haven't turned it on.
Yeah, it's very important to know how you're going to pay for it.
But the main point for students to remember when looking for housing is to keep an open mind.
Get an apartment guide. It has all the apartments in Troy listed in there. It has our phone numbers, our websites. Get online, do your research.
Find something you love the first time. It's expensive to move.
Definitely check them all out. Don't just sell it one, so you know what you're competing against and what's best for you, because what's best for one student is not necessarily good for all the rest.
Christina Cook, Troy, TrojanVision News.
If there are any students out there still looking for off-campus housing options for the fall, the university has a website with off-campus listings. You can visit the site by going to troy.edu/off-campus housing.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Tuscaloosa, a hospital spokesman says the patients hospitalized after a mass shooting at a Tuscaloosa bar are improving and that 2 of them will likely be released soon. DCH Regional Medical Center spokesman Brad Fisher said Wednesday morning that 1 patient was in serious condition and remained in the hospital's intensive care unit. 2 others are now in fair condition. Fisher said the remaining 2 patients are in good condition and would likely be discharged by Wednesday night. The 5 patients among 17 people hurt by either gunshots or debris when a gunman opened fire outside the Copper Top Bar in Tuscaloosa early Tuesday morning. Police have charged 44-year-old Nathan Van Wilkins with 18 counts of attempted murder. It wasn't known whether he has an attorney in this case.
And in Brookwood, an assistant police chief in Birmingham, Alabama, says the suspect in a mass shooting at a nightclub has been fired from his job after a fistfight with a coworker. Brookwood Assistant Police Chief Jimmy Sellers says Nathan Van Wilkins told police in April he was angry about his firing and was pressing assault charges against the other man.
And in Birmingham, First Lady Michelle Obama was visiting a summer camp for children who have been impacted by disasters. That includes children whose lives were affected by last year's tornadoes that ravaged much of Alabama. Tonight, she attended a fundraising event for her husband's re-election efforts.
Still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News. We all know who Michael Phelps is, but do we all know who his rival in the pool is? Dustin Carroll will be next in sports.
But first, Mitt Romney fires back at criticism concerning his tax records while the president insists that that's not his focus. We'll have that story and more after the break.
Nottingham in Washington. Coming up, top Republicans here on Capitol Hill come to Mitt Romney's defense.
There's a lot more to somebody being successful in society than just their diploma. We're in the business of making well-rounded individuals.
They taught me so much more than skills. At Troy, they truly believe that one person can make a difference.
We want to educate the mind to think, the heart to feel, the body to act. We're not trying to be all things to all people, but what we do very well.
Troy University, in class, online, within reach. Troy.edu.
I used to have a goat. Where did it go? It went to a family who really needed it. You see, giving a family an animal is like giving them a business. The wool, milk, eggs all turn into income for medicine, school, clothing, a better home, a sustainable livelihood. Soon the family is passing on the gift of the animal's offspring to another family who does the same and on until the whole community is lifted out of poverty. That is where my goat went, and that's why you give to Heifer International.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Brittany Harris at the Global News Desk. Brittany.
Thanks, Jetson. The Syrian government is vowing to punish those responsible for a crippling attack that struck the government's inner circle. Randall Pinkston has the latest from the United Nations, where diplomats are scheduled to discuss the crisis in Syria.
Syrians celebrated the bombing of a high-level cabinet meeting in Damascus. The attack killed the defense minister and President Bashar al-Assad's brother-in-law. Rebels claimed the bomb was detonated remotely. The government says it was a suicide attack. The U.S. says it is time to put more global pressure on President Assad to step down.
This is a situation that is rapidly spinning out of control.
The battle to overthrow the government is inching closer to the presidential palace. For a fourth straight day, heavy gunfire was heard in the Syrian capital. And video posted on the internet shows heavy damage in one neighborhood, following what witnesses say was a fierce battle between rebels and government tanks. The developments in Syria are creating new pressure on the United Nations to act. Later today, the Security Council is scheduled to vote on a resolution aimed at ending the 17-month-old crisis. But Russia has veto power and opposes a demand for non-military sanctions because the Russians fear they could eventually allow the use of force. UN envoy Kofi Annan has been in Moscow meeting with Russian President Putin. Annan says he is hopeful a peaceful resolution will be reached in Syria. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, the United Nations.
At a town hall meeting in Bowling Green, Ohio, Mitt Romney worked to keep the conversation on the economy and the president's record. He's trying to build up a strong counterattack after being hammered for days on his business record and tax returns. Danielle Nottingham has more from Washington.
Mitt Romney told Ohio voters there is a jobs crisis in this country, and President Obama is not doing anything about it.
His priority is not creating jobs for you. His priority is trying to keep his own job, and that's why he's going to lose it.
But it's Romney's taxes that have been stealing headlines, with some fellow Republicans joining Democrats and calling for the former governor to release more than 2 years of returns.
You make your tax returns available because you think the American people deserve that kind of transparency.
Romney did get some backup here on Capitol Hill Wednesday, with the top congressional Republican jumping into the debate on his behalf.
The American people are asking, where are the jobs? They're not asking where in the hell the tax returns are.
President Obama insists his focus is on jobs and helping the middle class.
And everybody's playing by the same set of rules. That's why I ran for president in 2008. That's why I'm running for a second term as President of the United States of America.
According to a new CBS News New York Times poll, the president faces an enthusiasm gap. 48% of Romney supporters say they are enthusiastic about the upcoming election, versus only 23% for the president. The president heads to Florida Thursday for a 2-day campaign swing to help fire up the base. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Washington.
A new study in the New England Journal of Medicine is offering hope to people with egg allergies. Researchers gave children very small amounts of eggs, curing many of their allergies. Teresa Garcia takes one of the children in on the study.
Thanks, Mom.
10-year-old Davide Halleck has to be careful about what he eats.
Right now, I am allergic to peanuts, sesame, and dairy.
One food he no longer has to worry about is eggs. Davide took part in an oral immunotherapy study. Doctors gave children with egg allergies tiny amounts of the food every day over a 2-year period. At the end, 75% of the children were able to tolerate a lot more egg than when they started. 28%, including Davide, were able to get rid of their egg allergy completely.
I love eggs now.
Egg is a very common food allergy. Most children outgrow it by age 5, but some can have it all their lives.
Having an egg allergy can be difficult because eggs are in so many other foods like breads and desserts.
The first thing he had was French toast. He loved it and he had no reaction, so it was a big celebration.
But researchers warn parents not to try this without medical supervision.
We need to do more to find out who is this right for, what is the right regimen, and can we move this to be regular clinical practice?
Davide had to endure blood work and IVs throughout the study, but says it was worth it.
It wasn't cool, but it really paid off at the end.
And his mom hopes the research will lead to cures for her son's other allergies. Teresa Garcia, CBS News, Los Angeles.